The quality standards that are looked at presently is right from the inputs, where we are saying if you are manufacturing fertilizer, it must be in good manufacturing practices. And then you go to the production, good agricultural practices. You go to the value addition, you again talk about good manufacturing practices. And then finally, the consumption. It has to be meeting the quality standards of food safety. Now, within that, we also need to look at the trade, where certain countries are not able to produce, even if they have good agricultural practices, they are not able to meet the efficiencies. And I think that has been the greatest challenge in this region, the fact that we are dealing with inefficiencies in production. When you look at sugar, for example, our production of sugar in Kenya is quite inefficient. So we need to improve our production, because then when you open up, that's why we're talking about the safeguards that we have been having in the sugar industry, is basically to protect our local industry. Why are we protecting our local industry? Because we are not competitive. So I think the issue of trade agreements will then open up the region. You know, of course, our milk, there was a challenge between Kenya and Uganda about milk processing and all that. Why? Because Kenya was more efficient in that area and they were able to go into the Ugandan market. And there were those challenges. So basically, there are issues of protecting the local industries and the local farmers. There are issues of protecting the quality in terms of what standards do you have. In Kenya, for example, we have KFIS, we have KEBS, we have Kenya Dairy Board, and we have even HCDA looking at the quality standards in the various areas in production in our country. We may not have the same in Uganda. There are challenges that need to be addressed. One is to appreciate that our farmers need to be trained, especially on international standards. What are the requirements? Residue level requirements. What are we talking about when we talk of residue levels? What are we talking about when we talk about the food quality, the preservation, the production, the preservation, and even the packaging? So those are the challenges that we still need to face. And I think with these international standards coming into being, we therefore need to up our production levels and equip them. And that brings in efficiencies. We must move from being an inefficient production system to the one that we are having the markets that work for the poor through the M4P programs and that kind of thing. But more importantly is to look at the impact of this. I was looking at the production side, but when you also look at the consumers, especially within the region, we are not so much quality conscious as consumers. So they know takes care of us. The people who take care of us are the institutions that are supposed to be established to ensure that there are quality standards. If it's in Kenya, for example, we have Kenya Bureau of Standards to ensure that this quality has been implemented so that the consumer is protected from any unscrupulous or food that is adulterated that does not meet the quality standard of food in terms of food safety. Now, when you move from there, you have also to look at the issues of pests when you look at the regional trade, where we are saying, yes, we want to trade, we want to open up the trade. If one of the challenges that Kenya faced, for example, was the larger grain borer from Tanzania, and the aphids that came and killed the cypress in our country, the greater grain borer was just killing the stored maize crops. So those are the challenges that then you need to say, if we don't have institutions that measure up and are able to check this, then we are going to have pests and diseases moving from one country to another, moving from one region to another. Even issues of aflatoxins coming in. So what we are saying is basically when you have a common trade agreement, you are able to set your standards. And as you set your standards, every country then must look at their systems. I have talked about the capacities of their institutions, the capacities of their people, and all that. So that it's not only something that we are doing at the policy framework area. So what I'm saying is that those challenges must be dealt with. Of course, the non-tariff barriers are enormous. Corruption comes in. Some of the things are the customs at the borders. I'm happy we have signed the common customs thing for the region. East African community signed the common customs. But you see, the implementation process has to be clear. You are not going to have custom officials who will ask for more money than is within the standards. And it creates a lot of jam within our borders. So whereas you want to trade, the policy is okay, but the implementation of the policy is still with people who have challenges that bring in what we call non-tariff barriers, which includes those issues.